Imagine Hollywood without Bruce Willis. It feels almost impossible. For decades, his presence wasn't just iconic, it was foundational. Bruce didn't merely play action heroes, he reshaped them. Audiences were drawn not just to his toughness, but to the humanity he brought to the screen. He could be sarcastic, weary, flawed, and unexpectedly vulnerable while still standing as a figure of resilience. That balance, strength paired with emotional depth, made him relatable, turning cinematic heroes from distant ideals into mirrors of real human endurance. Watching Bruce fight villains wasn't just about the spectacle, it was about witnessing someone persevere, sometimes quietly, sometimes with humor, but always with honesty. Over time, his talent and charm became a guiding light in the film industry, and yet behind the cameras, subtle changes began to emerge, shifts so quiet that few noticed at first, but that would eventually reveal a deeper story. The quiet pullback. Even before the world learned the details of Bruce's personal life, he began to step back from the public eye in ways that could be easily overlooked. On set, scenes were slightly shortened. Dialogue was carefully adjusted. The energy around him became quieter, not from absence, but from a gentle recalibration. Cast and crew instinctively adapted, not out of concern for spectacle, but out of care for a colleague. These changes were subtle, almost imperceptible to the casual observer, but for those closest to him, they carried weight. There was no drama, no alarm, just an intuitive patience, a recognition that someone they admired and loved was evolving, and that evolution deserved space rather than pressure. Signs that carried weight. The first signs of change were small: a missed line, a pause mid-sentence, a fleeting hesitation in thought. On set, directors adjusted schedules and timing to accommodate these moments, not because something had gone wrong, but because Bruce's presence mattered more than rigid structure. At home, the differences were slightly more pronounced. Conversations occasionally stalled, stories repeated themselves. Those small moments could have been frustrating, but instead they were met with patience and care. Family members recognized the subtle shifts, understanding that love often begins with noticing without rushing to fix, and in doing so, they began to weave a quiet safety net around him, one built from understanding rather than expectation. Family's gentle presence. Within the home, Bruce's family responded with warmth, attentiveness, and closeness. They slowed conversations, learned to sit with pauses, and offered reassurance without calling attention to the changes. Emma Hemming Willis later recalled moments when Bruce would search for words he had once found effortlessly, hesitations that gently altered the rhythm of everyday life. Yet these moments, while quietly painful, were also deeply intimate. They drew the family together, creating bonds reinforced by humor, touch, and shared memory. Laughter flickered through the pauses, not as an obligation but as a treasured echo of their ongoing connection, reminding everyone that presence above all was what mattered. Choosing compassion. Friends and colleagues noticed shifts as well, though Bruce remained warm and present in their company. The family made a conscious choice to prioritize dignity and compassion over speculation or public explanation. They understood that silence in this context was not avoidance, it was devotion. They sought to understand what was happening without exposing him to unnecessary scrutiny or fear. Care became the guiding principle, and in that careful attention, love was expressed quietly but powerfully, forming a protective cocoon around Bruce's life while still allowing him to live fully within it. Clarity through diagnosis. When the diagnosis came, it brought both heartbreak and clarity. Learning that Bruce was living with frontotemporal dementia explained the subtle shifts in language, decision-making, and emotional expression that had unfolded over time. For the family, it was not an ending but a turning point. Understanding what was happening reframed the past and helped chart a path for the future. Doctors offered guidance on what to expect and how to provide support, giving shape to experiences that had previously been confusing or unsettling. Knowledge did not erase the pain, but it provided a framework that allowed the family to approach each day with intentional care and compassion. Seeing the past differently. With the diagnosis in hand, memories of previous moments took on new meaning. Conversations that once seemed disrupted now made sense. Moments of frustration softened into understanding. Emma Hemming Willis reflected that once the family grasped the reality of the condition, patterns emerged in ways that were both comforting and poignant. What had felt random or disconnected now appeared as part of a larger, understandable journey. This shift did not erase grief, but it replaced fear with insight, allowing them to honor both the past and the present while embracing the love that had always been at the center of their family life. Creating a new rhythm. Armed with understanding, the family began crafting a life that emphasized stability and calm. Routines were adjusted, schedules softened, and environments simplified to create spaces where Bruce could feel safe and grounded. Daily interactions were measured by presence rather than productivity, emphasizing moments of connection over expectation. Laughter, music, touch, and shared stories became the markers of meaningful time, a rhythm shaped not by what was lost but by what remained. In this new way of living, the family discovered that life's value is often measured in small, intentional acts of care rather than grand gestures. Redefining interaction. Family members learned to interact differently with Bruce, embracing patience and flexibility in ways that honored the present moment. Silence became acceptable, conversations were allowed to wander, expectations shifted from fixing to being, from predicting to accepting. Every interaction became an opportunity to express love through presence, every choice a reflection of compassion. The future was uncertain, yet the commitment to navigate it together became a source of strength, reinforcing the idea that love adapts to change and deepens when met with understanding rather than resistance. Speaking as one. When the family chose to address the public, they did so as a unified voice. Emma Hemming Willis, Demi Moore, and Bruce's daughters released a joint statement grounded in honesty, care, and clarity. Their words were measured, avoiding sensationalism or unnecessary detail. Instead of seeking sympathy, they sought understanding. The decision to speak publicly reflected months of reflection and preparation, a choice made in service of truth, dignity, and the protection of Bruce's well-being. It sent a message that while challenges may arise, unity, love, and intentional communication remain steadfast. Understanding and responsibility. Emma described her understanding of the diagnosis as both a blessing and a weighty responsibility. Knowing what was happening brought relief, but it also required thoughtful navigation of an uncertain future. She learned to speak with intention, balancing transparency with care. Advocacy was not assumed lightly. It was embraced as a role that supported others while honoring the privacy and dignity of her loved one. Through this approach, she illustrated that honesty can empower rather than burden, offering hope and guidance to families facing challenges with cognitive conditions. The everyman reconsidered. For decades, Bruce was admired as the everyman hero, a figure who faced impossible odds and refused to yield. Now those performances could be seen as more than action. They were lessons in emotional perseverance. Audiences witnessed characters who could falter, reflect, and continue despite fear and uncertainty. That combination of courage and relatability made his legacy enduring, proving that heroism is measured not only by feats but by persistence, vulnerability, and humanity. Authenticity as power. As appreciation for his life and career evolved, Bruce's true power became unmistakable: authenticity. His character's quiet moments, his wry humor, and his emotional resilience mirrored the life he lived off-screen. Courage, it became clear, is not defined by invulnerability but by presence, consistency, and connection. Bruce's journey taught a universal lesson: that the truest form of strength is to remain genuine, compassionate, and present, even when circumstances shift unexpectedly. Why the family's words yatter. The family's choice to speak openly resonated far beyond Hollywood. Their honesty educated the public about frontotemporal dementia and encouraged thoughtful conversations about cognitive health. Medical professionals praise their clarity, noting that awareness often leads to earlier understanding and support. By sharing their story, the family not only informed but empowered, creating a model for addressing difficult realities with dignity, empathy, and care. A legacy defined by love. Ultimately, Bruce Willis's story is not defined solely by fame, filmography, or diagnosis. It is defined by the people who chose to walk beside him with patience, understanding, and unwavering care. The family's compassion revealed the enduring power of love, how it adapts, strengthens, and sustains in times of change. Their story reminds us that legacy is not measured in accolades or box office numbers, but in the courage to face life's uncertainties together and the grace to hold one another through them. Love, presence, and shared understanding became the truest markers of a life well lived.